Patch 4 for Tomb Raider 1 to 3 Remastered has been public for a while now. Overall, it was quite a small patch in terms of notes, but there has been other changes that weren't initially outlined. Today we're going to look at some of the things you may have not noticed within Patch 4. Before we start though, if you want to know the details of this patch, I've done a patch notes video which outlines everything that was officially announced on Aspire's website. And I've also done a video on the leaks from this patch. These were changes in the game that were leaked on the Xbox before the official release on other systems. The majority of those changes have been implemented within Patch 4. We're actually going to start on the main menu, and you'll notice that in Patch 4 there's a new section under Tomb Raider 3 with a QR code to join Crystal Dynamics' Society of Raiders. Members of the Tomb Raider community have voiced their opinions about this, and if you're on PC, one way of disabling it and not allowing it to show up at all is by using the -no legal code on Steam. To do this, right click on the game in Steam, go to Properties and then Launch Options. Type the line in the box -no legal without any spaces and then close the window. When you next launch the game, the Society of Raiders page shouldn't be there at all. Wanting to unlock the FPS in the original graphics? While this isn't Patch 4 related, it can be done on the PC version using Hex Editor. Instructions are on your screen now if you want to try this out for yourself, provided by Muru Coder on the Tomb Raider forums. Alternatively, if you're unsure what you're doing with Hex Editor, you can download a preset from Nexus Mods. With this, you'll be downloading a new exe file, so make a backup of your current game exe by moving it somewhere out of the game files, and then replace it with the one you downloaded. With this, you should now have a smoother experience when using the original graphics. Onto gameplay now, and these can be found on both the PC and consoles. One thing to note is with some language elements. In older versions, no matter what language you selected, if Lara walks up to a door for example and didn't have the key to open it, you'd hear her say this: "No." In English, even if you had chosen a different language. As you can see from this example in Patch 3 gameplay, I'm now in the German language, and Lara still says "No." So let's change the language again and try French. Is that any different? No. As we're in Venice, shall we try Italian? No. This has actually been a problem since the game's launch. If we now go into Patch 4 in the exact same scenario, exact same place in the level, as you can see the key is on the floor, it's not being picked up, Lara will now go over to the lock, and before I go to use it, I'll show you again that I'm in English to start with. No. So there you go, Lara says no in English, as you'd expect. I'm now going to change the language over to German, and this is what happens. Nein. And now again in French. No. How about Italian? No. I will say though that this doesn't work for all languages. If I use Japanese for example, Lara will still say the word in English. No. Something else you might have noticed is changes to the skyboxes. While some of these have had several changes and upgrades throughout the patches, Patch 4 has seen some significant skybox changes. You can see some examples of which on your screen now, and these are levels across all 3 of the titles. There's also some examples of poorly aligned skyboxes, and an example of this is in the Tomb Raider 1 expansion pack Unfinished Business, and specifically the Temple of the Cat level. We can also see within Croft Manor in Tomb Raider 3 some floating trees within that level's skybox. Here's something that you may not have noticed. In this cutscene between Larson and Lara that you see at the end of Tomb of Qualopec, experienced players will have seen this cutscene many times before. What we're going to do is play a little game of Spot the Difference. So let me know in the comments if you notice what's different between the patch 3 version and the patch 4 version of this scene that I've shown on screen. I'll give you a clue. It's a really obvious difference. Let's see if you can find it. Finally, just some quick things. 3D ladders were added to the Opera House level in Tomb Raider 2 in a previous patch. This texture has now been reverted back into 2D. Within the patch notes, it mentioned water not being visible from some angles. What it didn't mention was the white surface of the water is now gone, and it now looks similar to the water surfaces of patch 2. You're seeing some examples across various levels within the 3 titles on your screen now. However, one noticeable difference is the water in the Golden Mask expansion of Tomb Raider 2. Water in these levels since the game launched in the original graphics looked blue, and has stayed blue up to patch 3. While in patch 4 it looks purple when underwater. This goes for all levels within this expansion. So those were just some changes not really talked about within patch 4 of Tomb Raider 1-3 Remastered. Have you noticed anything else that's been changed within this patch? And what are your overall opinions? Let's discuss them in the comments. There's a full playlist on the channel of every video made in this game, so feel free to check those other videos out if you haven't already. That playlist will be linked on your screen shortly, along with a video with details on the next remaster.